Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would do an in-depth base routine, just kind of what I do every single day. I hope you can... Oh, that's going to be really annoying, isn't it? Oh yeah, that's my chair. Where was I? Yeah, I just thought I would do a sort of in-depth video talking about my base routine because I feel like when I do makeup looks, that's the thing I kind of skip over. So just to have like a dedicated video of this is like my everyday, what I put on my face, how I deal with the skin, etc. So I've already done some prep work and I popped these two products on. So this is the Beauty Pie Japan Fusion Deep Treatment Serum. I find this sits really well under makeup. I know I've been talking quite a lot about the Ceramidin by Dr. Jart, but I have this which is kind of similar lying around and I want to use it up, and that makes it sound like I don't like it. I do like it. So yeah, so I've started sort of using this definitely more under makeup and stuff, and then also my SPF at the moment. Today it's still like quite a little bit like cloudy, a bit murky, so I'm using the Beauty Pie Ultralight SPF 25. I really hope they bring out a higher SPF version in this formula because this formula is really nice, and I use this in lieu of a moisturiser because I'm going to be using a tinted moisturiser as well. I find if I had another moisturiser on top for my skin, that's not something that I would do because I felt like that would be a bit too much for my skin. Speaking of my skin, it's sort of oily combo, normal-ish, leveling out sort of situation. So I don't like to put too many moisturisers on during the day because my skin's not dry or dehydrated or anything, and I do suffer from breakouts and stuff, so I am conscious of that. Anyway, so we're going to start with the prepping side of things. By the way, this is my makeup bag. It's this bag, as you can see, it says here Mark Hill. This was like a free bag with like a hair care set years ago, and I still have it knocking around. It's gross, but it's a really like nice size, and because it's quite flexible, soft. I don't know I don't know what word I'm looking for here. It fits quite a lot in, which I quite like. It's a nice size for me, and typically day to day I work from a makeup bag as opposed to like a dressing table or anything. I don't have one. So yeah, let's get cracking. So sorry if I'm looking a little bit to the side. This is where my mirror is so I can see what I'm doing. Anyway, so I'm going to be using two sort of like primer base products before we get into the colour products. First of all being something that I've fallen back in love with, the Porefessional by Benefit. So again, we're talking about my skin. Let's get my hair out of the way. Hang on, should we zoom you in? Let's do it. Woo! Hey. So I don't know if you'll be able to see, but here, and sort of along my forehead here, I do have quite large pores. I don't think that's anything to do with the lack or the amount of skincare that I use. I think that's just my face, and I have come to terms with that. Like my mum also has like quite large pores and stuff as well, in similar areas. So, sorry, that sounds like I'm dragging my mum there. But she does, and she gave birth to me, and it's fine. I'm fairly happy with my face. I don't hate my face. It's all right. Anyway, and then also similar situation. I do have these quite deep set. They're not bags. It's kind of like inverted bags. Like I've got like a line here, and it goes like in, and this is like quite purple, as you might be able to see. And that, again, that doesn't matter if I have 20 hours sleep or 2. So, you know, I'm quite well rested today. Like I'm quite chipper, but it still looks like I got no sleep, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. Anyway, so I've actually, yeah, as I said, like fallen back in love with a sort of a pore filling product, which I have like 2 or 3 of these like little samples, so I'm like, hey, I don't have to buy one of these. But then also I'm going to be using the NYX Full Coverage Concealer in the orange shade to combat those dark circles. I typically use this formula like in a pot sort of day to day because I find the product is sort of, due to its type of consistency like in a pot, etc., it's a lot more controllable than I have like a more liquidy one, which I do like, but I would use that more when I'm sort of like not apply makeup with my hands, when I'm using more like beauty blenders and stuff, because it can really spread because of the sort of format of the product. Anyway, so I'm going to start with the Porefessional. This is like a golden oldie product. Like this was one of the first high-end beauty products I ever bought. But yeah, I'm just like popping literally a teeny tiny bit on my ring finger, and I'm gonna just literally rub it between there, pop it here, because I think with Porefessional you can overdo it for certain like sort of products like this. I am fully aware that this product, no product, is going to completely resurface my skin. It's not going to happen. So I do find that if you put like too much of this sort of like silicone-y type product on your face, it just sort of doesn't sit right. So I definitely think less is more, particularly with that one. And then I'm just going to shove some of this on under my eyes. I just again take my ring finger, sort of rub it in as you would, and focus it here. Well, I sometimes, when I start really early in work, I will do my makeup on my break, and my colleague walked in on me doing my makeup looking like this the other day, and he was incredibly confused. Anyway, so I then just sort of rub in the rest so I can just use my hands. And the base product that I use day to day is this one again by Beauty Pie. This is the Sheer Tinted Oil-Free SPF 20. I believe this is a dead ringer for the Laura Mercier Oil-Free Tinted Moisturiser. I think this is like basically the same product. I will just literally shove it on with my hands, not very elegantly. Yeah, without rhyme or reason, we just shove it on with the hands. And you'll find, like, if you've never used colour correctors before, you might be like, how is that supposed to cover? But actually this, which is like a medium light base coverage sort of product, takes it down a bit. And then obviously with concealers, it goes down that much more. Really annoying thing about having a fringe when you're doing your makeup is I don't like to sort of like keep it out of the way for too long, because then it sort of, particularly when it's as short as it is right now, I find it then just like stays there, which is not what I want. Anyway, so that's with the foundation on, and the only place that you can really see the colour corrector now is sort of like right in the like sort of very corners of my eyes. You can see that orange, and a little bit underneath. And it is a sheer coincidence that I love using very warm toned orange red eyeshadows, so that really doesn't bother me. And also I'm going to go over it with concealer anyway. So speaking of concealer, I use two. So I like to use two concealers in conjunction with one another, both drugstore ones as well. So this is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. Is this my absolute favourite sort of like liquid doe for applicator concealer in the world? No, probably not. But I tell you for why, I always pick these up in like 3 for 2s, because I think they are like a good enough formula that it's like nice to have around, and I know I will use it up. And I do always like having this one on hand, the Maybelline Eraser Eye. Actually, I completely lied, I use 3 concealers. Mainly because I've got a spot here. I'm going to also be using the Clarins Instant Concealer because this is the colour of my face. I've got a few blemishes about at the moment, so I will use just a tiny bit of that for that. Take the Clarins Concealer, and I'm talking like I use like a tiny amount, and that I will use to sort of cover up the blemishes on my face. And I'll just use my finger as well for that. So when I do sort of my base, when I'm not obviously talking through it, it takes me about 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes, I would say. And also I'm doing all my base in order today in this video, whereas actually I jump around a lot more when I'm sort of just doing my makeup day to day. So moving on to the Maybelline one. So I do like to use both these concealers under my eyes. I know that this sort of like applicator grosses some people out, but I'm not using this on anyone else, so I'm happy to throw it all over my face. And then I'm just going to use the doe foot straight on my skin, under my eyes. And as you can see, this one is quite brightening, which I quite like. So, and again, I'll just use my fingers for this. Sometimes I'll run it down the nose. I don't think I'm going to today. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And again, I just like, honestly, tag teaming my middle and index finger together. I'm just rubbing it in. It's sort of like a rub and a pat, sort of. It's a small swipes is what I go for. Because you don't want to sort of have like, obviously drag it away from where you've put it, but you also want it to blend in. And I do like inadvertently take it over my eyelids as well, because typically some will just get there anywhere. So we got concealer number 1 on, and then a bit of this just on top as well. This has like a nice sort of like neutralising tone to it, again with that orange underneath. I think this works quite well over the top. And also what I like about this applicator is it doesn't let you put too much product on, because I feel like obviously if you're layering concealers, that can get cakey quite quickly if you're not sort of conscious about how much you're popping on. Whereas actually I find this allows me to put on sort of as much as I want. So I know this technically isn't a base product. This is my eyeshadow primer, the Milani eyeshadow primer. But because how I typically do my makeup is I like to like set all around my eye area with a pressed skin toned powder and then powder the rest of my face. So I would usually do that when I put this on as well. So I'm gonna do that so I can set that, and then I will set the rest of my face just for full transparency. I'm a battery diet. Anyway, we're back. So I like to take sort of a skin coloured powder, whether it's the face powder I'm using at the time or something in an eyeshadow palette that is more, whether it's like an eyeshadow or, I am so sorry about this chair. Oh my God. I am so sorry. But yeah, so whether it's sort of like a face powder, so this is like from the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour kit. I know I spoke about that in my favourites recently, but then whether it's an eyeshadow that I'm using at the time, like sort of like a bone coloured eyeshadow, whatever's working, whatever I'm using at the time. Oh my God. I have never noticed how much this chair squeaks until I film this video. Wow. So what I'll do is I just sort of take a brush like this. This is a MAC 217. I was gonna say like a 217 star brush, but I just checked and this actually is one. I really like the Zoeva ones that are very similar. I think the number's 227. See what you did there, Zoeva. Zoeva? What do you say? Anyway, just pop it in and I will initially start on the eyelid, take it all the way up to the brow, but then also take it underneath to set my creases, because your girl gets some creases. Yeah, because I do have, as I said, like my eyes are just quite deeply set, I think. I don't know. Please tell me. I'm sure someone can tell me, but I don't know. I feel like my eye is very like, almost feels like a bit sunken. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know if it's like my brow bone is a bit more forward or my eyes are a bit further back. Either way, something's going on. And now usually, this is where I take a setting spray. As you can hear, I have absolutely none. I'm getting one delivered tomorrow, but alas, it is today. So I cannot use one. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Then I will set the rest of my face with something a little less pigmented, because I'm happy with the amount of pigment I've put on my face with the cream products that I've used. So I will use a powder like this. Now this powder I dropped when I was in Amsterdam in my bathroom floor. I had like a tiled bathroom floor. So this is completely my fault, not the product's fault, but the pan itself, I need to like glue it in or something. Anyway, so I don't want to hold this up for too long. This is their one powder wonder, which is again very similar to the NARS setting powder that looks like this, like it's just plain white. Also, I've loved sort of the hourglass powders, like the ambient lighting powders, quite like them. Just sort of like a setting finishing powder. I feel like my face doesn't eat that much makeup anymore. I think because I've introduced setting sprays quite religiously into my routine, I find setting powders are less important. I now more look for like finishes in powders that I like, sort of how it makes the skin look, and then I leave the setting to the setting spray. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Anyway, so we are fully set, and we're gonna put some colour back into the face, because at the moment I'm looking quite white, just fading into the back wall here. Yeah, I'm looking quite magnolia, so I'm just gonna bring some colour back into the face. How I like to do the order of this, I like to contour, highlight, and then put blush on, because I find when you're contouring, you're trying to mimic the shape of your face, but then, I mean, highlighting to a certain extent is also the same as blush, where it is trying to emulate the colours in your skin, or like the circumstances in which your skin is in, i.e. if you're sweaty or if you're blushing, whereas a contour is trying to, yeah, change the shape of your face. I am going to go back into this little palette of mine and use the contour shade. Again, this is from Anastasia. I say depotted it, the pans come out like are supposed to come out. So, and I've just got this little brush here. I've been using this for ages, as you can see. It needs a clean. This is another MAC brush, actually. The 168 Special Edition. I used to be a lot more into, I have this brush, it's almost, it's like a paintbrush where it's like very like chiseled, whereas I'm thoroughly enjoying just your standard angled brush at the moment. So tap that off, and then I start sort of towards the back of the ear here, and you know, follow those makeup rules where I don't go past the arch of my eyebrow, and just pop it in here, because I also don't use bronzer. I don't think a tan suits me. I think I am very much an English rose. So I have no interest in getting a tan, thus the self-tanning, wait, that's a lie, thus the SPF. I like having one foundation shade. I like the colour of my skin, and I like not having premature wrinkles and all that stuff. So I mean, each to their own. My mum loves to worship the sun and get a tan, and I know a lot of people feel that way, but I'm just not one of them, you know? Team pale. I'm happy with where I'm at. So yeah, I feel like I used to definitely be a bit more conscious of the chiseling and stuff, but I kind of use like contour powders almost like as a bronzer to bring sort of a bit more colour to the face again, that you take out with sort of cream-based products like foundations and stuff. That's what we're dealing with. So there's colour there, but I like it to be a bit soft. And then also when we layer it with highlighter and blush, hopefully it's a bit more seamless. So then this is my highlighter choice. I am, as you can see, really running low on this. This is by Colourpop. This is the Super Shock Cheek in Flexitarian. And I love this because it's still a warm-ish, like neutral warm highlighter, but it's not gold. I find, again, because I have quite pale skin, highlighters that aren't like jewel-toned, weird, shifty pink and blue, that are usually like white with like a pinky blue flecks in or what have you. I find it's really hard to find a highlighter that sort of has that champagne-y quality to it that is light enough to be a highlighter for me. Like, a lot of them would make like really nice eyeshadows for me, but it just, yeah, it's just not a highlighter. Anyway, whereas this one is, I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it, and I need to make another Colourpop order soon. I'm really thinking about doing like a brand review of Colourpop. I haven't ordered from Colourpop for a really long time, and since they brought out base products and all that stuff, so I am really intrigued. Anyway, again, same, 2 fingers. I like to put the product on one and like help the other one helps blend it in. I do also use this like as like an inner corner highlight as well. So again, whilst I have like the excess on my hand, give it a bit of that. And then also over here. I do find, even though this is like sort of a cream product, it is very much as a cream to powder. I don't find it gets funky or anything after I've set my face to put it on top. And what I love about this highlighter is you can go sort of as strong or as light as you want. Like, as I say, like day to day, I go for a little bit of a soft beat, you know, it's not crazy or anything, but you know, you can also really ham it up. And if you ever see any shine on my eyes, 9 times out of 10 it is this as well. Really do like that. I think it is a phenomenal product actually. Anyway, last but certainly not least, we have blush. So at the moment I am using Romantic Rose by Milani, which looks a little bit like this. I am not somebody that typically switches up their blush a lot. I'm very happy to sort of use one blush until it's gone, because for me, I quite like neutral blushes that go with everything. I'm taking, yeah, it's just a powder blush, and this is a, oh my god, this has got a massive one of my hairs in, cute. I'm just taking a stippling brush here from Real Techniques. Like, this is so old. Like, can you see the handle? It looks gross as fuck. It does doop. I like using a stippling brush because I feel like it gives you a lot more control over where you want to put the product. I think sometimes a lot of people, they always want like pigment, but actually I feel, particularly when it comes to products like blush or like contour powders, I feel like blendability is more important than pigment, because it's not an eyeshadow, you know? Like with an eyeshadow, you're, for the most part, if you're wearing a blue eyeshadow, most people understand that your eyes aren't probably blue and shiny all the time, whereas with skin products you're trying to emulate your natural sort of skin. So anyway, so I again work from here, and I sort of just like work it up to sort of follow where the contour and the highlight I have put have gone. And yeah, I like to sort of finish with blush, because I find, because it's the product that almost goes in the middle between the contour and the highlight, it kind of ties everything together. If I had any setting spray, this is where I would go to town. There is literally, oh, There is nothing in here. I don't know why I keep spraying it. I am going to put some mascara on and my brows on and a bit of lipstick on so you kind of see what a finished look would look like. So I'll be back in a sec. Ta-da! This is the makeup I do basically every day on my face. If you'd like to see one where it's like my little bit more fancy, like special time base routine, I'm happy to do that. I feel like colour correcting can seem really faffy, but I find it makes a difference to me. Hang on, if I can like put like a side-by-side comparison of us, of me and me. Have you seen Us, by the way? I've seen Us. Let me know what you thought if you've seen it down below. Anyway, I feel like it does make a difference to my under eyes if I don't have something underneath, because like as I said, like I know it's my face. I'm aware of what the problems I have, if you can call them problems, challenges, who knows what. It's just the way things are, right? You can still see a bit of that colour underneath my eyes, like it hasn't completely gone away, and I don't think any, unless it's like a super duper thick coverage product, which isn't what I want day to day, would do that. Sorry, I just keep looking at myself in the mirror. But yeah, so this is my daily look. Usually I would shove some eyeliner on too, but yeah, if there's any type of video you'd like to see from me, please leave that down below, and I shall see you again soon. Bye! And go.